afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime with Kevin, where we add value to people's lives, happening every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 12 on ebitradio.com. You can catch the Lunchtime series on all major podcast channels, and for our Lunchtime marketing segment, proudly supported by Hollard Insurance, hashtag big ads for small businesses. As per usual, joining us, our marketing and communications expert, Craig Paisley. How are you doing, Craig?
I'm well, and you, Kevin? Yeah, here we are. Last show of the year for us.
I can't believe we're here now.
Ingrid, 45 weeks consecutively, and looks like Ingrid's thrown the towel in for the year and taken an early break. So that is a reprieve Ingrid for us as well.
Even though she's going on holiday, I've still got work to do. So I'm glad that she's got some time off. But Craig, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation we had last week, and we covered the topic of the Great Resignation. And don't you want to just give us a bit of a recap and key takeaways from this insightful discussion? I think there's some really good things you could share.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks. The Great Resignation and another term or phrase that really belongs with the conversation is also the Great Relocation, where we're seeing many folk from highly densely populated cities of the world relocating to beautiful, serene settings, some by the river like you, to really embrace a new lifestyle change. So yeah, there's just three key points I want to pick up from last week's conversation from the article titled Why the Great Resignation, and the 3 points are noted as follows. So first question here is, why the Great Resignation now? And it's obviously quite an obvious answer to this, Kevin. There've been salary cuts, there've been businesses that have been shut down on the back of the COVID pandemic, and there's obviously been a lot of financial and emotional challenges for employees coming out of this, and many of them really need to find new opportunities to gain their place in life, not just from a career position point of view, but really from an emotional, mental, and financial point of view as well. The second point here, which was quite a surprise to us last week, was the pandemic resignation backlog. And if you look at it, many employees actually resisted resigning during the early stages of COVID because obviously of the unknown, or how long this was going to go on for and what the consequences were going to be downstream. So based on the uncertainty that lay ahead, they stuck in those jobs and really just wanted to ensure some form of income and supposed security during this particular period. But interestingly, post the peak of this year, there are apparently more than 6 million fewer resignations in 2020 compared to 2019. But coming out of that, we obviously saw the results last week, where there's 34 million resignations in the USA in the last 4 months alone. You know, that is more than the total populace of the working force in South Africa. And that is because folk are now coming through the spike and peak of the pandemic and are actually seeing that working from home is a better option, wanting to pick up on their hobbies as careers and the like. So yeah, a lot more who wanted to quit in the early stages have actually made the transition, and we're going to see a really big momentum groundswell of this going into next year as well, because there's a backlog in other countries like Canada, UK, and Germany as well. Then the third point here, and I mentioned the likes of UK, Kevin, uncertainty, a breeding ground for opportunities. So there are about 60% of the workforce in the UK that are still considering a career change coming out of the pandemic. Many are rethinking, reevaluating their life and career choices due to the uncertainty that the career brought, but really they're actually beginning to pursue their own hobbies over jobs. They're considering learning new skills, and many are actually going into an entirely new career direction as well. So the uncertainty, in essence, to quote the report, states that becoming a breeding ground of opportunity for several professions, and many employers are facing the brunt of this. So whilst employers came into the pandemic ill-prepared, ill-equipped, not trained to deal with moments like this in time, staff are moving on from that and going, okay, it's time for us to go and find the other opportunities. And they seeing this as a great opportunity for themselves, but for business, definitely not.
Fascinating conversation, Greg. And speaking of opportunities, from last week's show, I'm really looking forward to our meeting our guest today. And I mean, you've already told me so much about. Please reintroduce the topic and the guest to the show today, Craig.
Absolutely, yeah. So today we're welcoming Pride, Radebe, and Letsi, Mailula. They are from Ground One Coffee, and both gents are worthy recipients of being selected from the Hollard's Insurance's Big Ads for Small Businesses campaign, where they've had the opportunity to showcase themselves and their business literally in lights on billboards, taxis, television, radio, and the full gambit of the media platform that Hollard Insurance has put to the 12 companies, with a bit of mentoring and guidance to really drive their business. And I'm totally blown away by what they're achieving. You and I are both big coffee fans, and I went and met Pride to get a little taste of what the brand is about. Phenomenal coffee, I have to say, really, really great. And we're looking forward to a wonderful story about their journey into this current reality that they're in. Welcome to the show, Pride. Welcome to the show, Letsi.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Craig. It's an honor. We're very privileged that you guys have invited us here today.
We're very, very privileged to have you guys. It's the last show of the year, and yeah, it is great to close off with some wonderful learnings we're going to take away from your respective journeys into this foray, guys. So looking forward to that. But Kevin, before I get into the conversation, I just want to share some background content on Ground One Coffee and on Founder Pride. And as a reminder to our listeners, Ground One Coffee, again, is one of the 12 small businesses that were selected to receive promotional support from Hollard Insurance through their Big Ads for Small Business campaign. So Hollard Insurance has dedicated the entire media holding and advertising space to these small businesses as a way to give them a foot up and to demonstrate support of small businesses across South Africa. So referencing the Hollard Insurance site, Kevin, we read that Ground One Coffee provides complete coffee solutions for any establishment which needs their services and high quality beverages. Their product offering includes supplying the brand of coffee options along with hot beverages like hot chocolate, spiced chai, red espresso, white chocolate, and frappe mix. Beyond that, their services include ordering, training, quality control, and technical service for coffee machines and grinders. But we also learned that Pride started Ground One Coffee because he wanted a coffee company that represented African tastes. And I'm quite intrigued to hear what he believes African tastes are in this regard. And they started out quite literally on Ground One, going door to door to restaurants selling their coffee out of their car boots. And today they've got a couple of vans, they've got more than one roastery, they've got bricks and mortar presence and a staff count and packaging, branding, logo, and they're running a real business.
Amazing. Right. So picking up on what Craig just shared, please really tell us more about yourself, where you are from, where you guys grew up, what influenced you, and what stimulated the thought of starting a coffee company.
Good day, gentlemen. Yeah, just to start where we started, just to correct you, what Craig said earlier on, we are both founders, me and Letsi Mailula. So we have started the company. So where you started, like Letsi was working for iStore. And then by the time when we started the company, I just resigned in my job. And then Letsi I was still working at iStore. So, but we started the company together. But I'm the one who's got a history of the coffee. So I've been in the industry for quite like 14 years. So where I started, like for me, myself, where I started as in a restaurant washing dishes back there. I think it was like Douglas Day. The shop was called Cafe Fino. So washing dishes there. From washing dishes and end up being the barista. From the barista side, and then the head office of 4 News, and then they took me in, and then they did me like one of the trainers to train all the shops. So yeah, so that's where I started thinking. So the Ground One way we started best like we started selling in the boot of the cars. That's true. So I met Letsi at the gym. When I met Letsi at the gym, so he was just kind of a guy that was driven. So in a way that when I talk about what I'm doing, first time I met you, say, what do you do? I say, I sell coffee. And then he say, how do you sell coffee? We drink coffee. So we started there. You know what? He said, no, what, mate, let's just do. I say, okay, let me show you what I do. And then the following day, I think another week, I took few kgs in my in the boot for the company that I was working for. And then let's say we went to Hyde Park to sell to another guy. He said, that's easy like that. So you sold this coffee, this guy gave you money, so you make the money there. I say, yeah, that's how you sell the coffee. So it was funny. So let's say, cool, man. So he was kind of a hyper guy. That's in a way that he understood. So from the day one, then we started chatting about the coffee. He started like coming to my house, steal books for coffee. But some of the books I haven't get them back even now. Still waiting for Letsi to give my book. So he started reading about coffee, about the coffee. So it was so funny back then. So yeah, and then from there, and then Letsi was still got a contract with iStore. I still got a contract with the company that I was working for, Kachura. So we were both working when we started this company. We came with ideas, but we thought it's gonna just be the ideas for the day. But continuous, the ideas they grow in a way that we start meeting people that they're gonna develop the brand. From developing the brand, we had thinking the first how we started the business. So we had one of the family members that help us just to give us something to start to buying the bags of coffee. That's where we started. So we started to buy the bags of coffee in a silver packaging. So what we did is we know what we want inside our coffee. So we told them the brand, because I was been in a coffee industry background. So I told them what we need in a coffee brand. So we said what we need in a coffee brand, how it's going to taste like. And then from there, we kick in a way that we ordered, I think it was 200 kg that we ordered first time. We are just a silver package from Cape Town. When they got here, I think that night, me and Letsi and another guy called Gerard, we said whole night putting stickers on the coffee. The first week, those 200 were sold out. So that's sold out those 200, and then we start making from that 200, every profit that you're making, we're just doing some more coffee. That's where I probably give you the background of ground one before we move to the real office.
Amazing.
Yeah. Pride, let's see. Yeah, where did you guys come from? Are you Joburg boys? Are you coastal guys? Where are you from?
Okay.
Sorry. Letsi is from Polokwane. Letsi was raised in Polokwane, and then but he moved in Jozi when he was early stage. I was raised in Durban, and then I moved to Ramfontein, and then I ended up in Joburg. So we can say now we are Joburg boys.
City boys.
I'm a Durban boy there with you. Spent my life growing up there.
Yeah. We spoke about it. That's funny.
Yeah. Over our coffee. That's quite right. Yeah. Brilliant. So what influenced you to go into the coffee space? Because again, as I mentioned earlier on, you have this passion to really grow interest in African tasting coffee. What is that you're aiming to achieve?
Letsi, you wanna give it a shot and tell us.
Yeah, can I just get that again?
So the objective here was to start a company that represented African taste in coffee. What do you and how do you attribute African taste to coffee? Is it based on African sourced beans, or is it based on strength, or is it a wonderful blend of Arabica plus African beans, Kenyan? Because we've got phenomenal coffee beans on the continent. So what is that aspect of the vision, and how are you guys addressing that and realizing it?
So basically, when we talk about an African taste, exactly what you're saying, we work with African beans, African origin. What we would do is sit back and actually research about the taste that we're trying to achieve, meaning that would line up and research about the taste that we're trying to find within the beans that we're going to sell. And when we say an African bean, we use blends. So what blends do is that we're going to complete a flavor that is really balanced, that is really fruity, deep, earthy. So we find a combination of African beans that would give us a perfect cup, meaning that it's a mass appeal bean. It works for restaurants, hotels. It works for the entry-level coffee drinker. It works for the connoisseur. So we have to find something that is sellable. So consistency and quality work a whole lot of Tanzanian beans, Kenya, Rwanda. So we try to promote these blends through what we think is going to be a greater taste for everybody.
How many blend ranges do you have? Let's see.
So, I mean, we could be like everybody else and have an endless list of blends, but we work with a selected few. So we would have about 4 that we have perfected. So also having a large list of blends, I think for consumers, it will cause a decision paralysis, what we like to call it. You know, so what we have perfected, we can sell, and we know how to perfect it. So we'll stick to probably 4, just give it on a medium and a darker range because that's our taste profile. Like, then it's easier to move. We can go head to head with anybody globally in terms of our taste and our roast.
Yeah, that's great. It sort of makes me think of a great saying I heard many years ago in business is, you know, shrink yourself to greatness. You don't need 15 ranges, 3, 4 core taste, palate, flavorants. That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Kevin.
Yeah.
So you were.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't think there's many brands, especially, you know, that start off small, that sort of go, yeah, you know, we could compete with international, and we could be right up there with them. And I think that's it's such a feather in your cap to be able to do that. So congratulations. I just love hearing stories like this, and you know, seeing South Africa thrive. There's so many entrepreneurs doing what they're doing, and it's just amazing.
And I must tell you, Kevin, having tasted the espresso myself, I can tell you right now, it's a damn fine coffee.
Yeah.
But there's one reality that does come with any success around coffee, is that you've got to ensure that your quality supply chain is in place. You've got to be working hard to ensure that the taste sensation and palate stimulation is constantly being met. But as both of you spoke about, Pride and Letsi, it's about your training as well. It's about your equipment. It's about the training, making sure the baristas really understand how to get the best out of that machine, get the optimum flavor and extraction from the bean as well, but also not burning the product and you know, taking it over the edge. So whilst you may have the best opportunity of product in the bag, the actual end experience could actually really destroy the brand when a restaurant has got the wrong person working the machine and delivering burnt, unsatisfactory flavored coffee, which is why you guys are so hands-on in the business, going from store to store, as I saw both of you walking into a store with you and getting that experience and watching you decide where the machines go and things like that. So it is very much a hands-on requirements in the early stages of a business of yours, and it's an integral part of ensuring the quality controls are sustained throughout that. But jumping away from that, let's just quickly hear about your journey and how you actually got in front of Hollard Insurance to be selected as part of the Big Ads for Small Brands campaign.
Oh, can just jump in on that. So on that, funny enough, is like one of the family members, again, as I said earlier on, gave us a link to say the Hollard they're looking for small business thing that they will be doing. So they send us all the requirements that we need to fill and they need to send to them. And then we fill all those stuff and then you send it back. So I think I remember, so I was in like, we just sent it. So we didn't know what's happening. We just said, okay, cool, probably, we always thought like, okay, it's a special, probably going to win money or something. Every time it's a competition in your head. I say, well, I wonder, mate, how much you're going to get here. So we filled everything. We asked one of our accountant and then one of the ladies in our office just to fill that. Just get fill that and see maybe we can win some money. But we didn't get the full idea what it was about. So I think I remember I was 15 November when I was in Durban. So this lady, the two ladies, Joanne and I forgot the name of another lady, they call me, they say, we've been selected for one of the big A's. I said, okay, cool, that's awesome. So you don't look excited. I said, I am excited, just I'm confused. What was it exactly? So I didn't know that I was going to come out on TV. I didn't know that I was going to show up in the billboard, Street Point, also in the radio. So it was surprising when we could know what it was about. So I can say it was a family member that gave us a link, and then that's where you put the stuff through. Yeah.
Let's see, how did you feel?
We were very much excited, but like Pride said, we threw a whole lot of baits in. You know, we never know who bites and who comes back at us. But the fact that we have a pending opportunity that might come back to us, you know, it makes you feel like, okay, cool, something might happen that can change our lives tomorrow. So let's work towards that. But definitely excitement. Definitely, we're being exposed to, you know, people can come through and actually know that we exist, you know, so it's something that could propel us to where we see ourselves every day.
Brilliant.
And also, just as a side note to that, like, you know, as entrepreneurs, often you get so many no's, so many closed doors, and you kind of, you know, and you kind of go like, how the hell is Hollard even going to support me here? I don't even know, like, is this even going to happen? And, you know, with the stringent, rigorous process that you have to go through, you know, and that we know that everyone, all the brands have been through. What is it for you guys that sort of gets you, you know, what drove you to kind of carry on and go, yes, no, let's just pursue and see what happens? What was that for you guys?
For Hollard specifically, or just overall?
Well, for Hollard specifically, but overall as well, you know. So what do you like? What gets you to get up and go?
Look, I think if anybody wants to give you any kind of assistance, you have to meet them halfway. If people believe that, you know, you're great as you guys say you are, that's enough reason to continue, because now we really have to show it, and now we have to come through, we have to prove it. Now we have to come through and let guys drink great coffee that we think that we have. So it puts you in, like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. We need to be responsible for our growth. We need to be responsible for our product development. We need to be responsible for how we grow the brand each day. How do we sustain our motivation moving forward? At the end of the day, this is our whole lives. We have people that we support, and that means so much to us. The fact that people's livelihoods depend on us, that's what gets us going every morning. You know, it's been an excruciating 2 years, but the fact that, you know, our guys can get paid, you know, somewhere, somehow, and work, and that means a lot to us. That's why we show up, because they show up for us.
Amazing.
I like that. I like that. That's really great. So you setting the example, but actually based on their actions, you are now in with it as well to ensure that you continue the example. That's really great. They show up for you, and therefore you have to show up for them. I like that.
It's a double whammy.
Yep, absolutely. So one of the interesting things that, you know, I've picking up on a comment I made earlier as well, is that your brand can either fail or succeed, particularly in the commercial space, based on the poor delivery of the production of the product by those that haven't necessarily been trained well, or have been trained well but don't get it, or whatever it may be. Where do you believe the opportunity exists for you guys to actually go outside of the commercial space into retail to showcase the brand? Because I don't know what brand to look for when I'm sitting in a restaurant, unless there's an Elisan or a Segafredo or a Lavazza or Ground One, and it's not often that the menus are reprinted on a frequent basis carrying your brand. So, you know, consumers and patrons to restaurants don't know where to look out for your brand. So how is the campaign going to help you elevate the brand with a call to action for people in a retail space to start asking for the product and creating demand to try and get you onto the shelf in some of these environments? And are you going to the likes of the Spar Group and ShopRite and any of the other retailers to get your product onto shelf?
So on that, you know, when you're talking about the signage in the restaurant, you know, but few signage in the few restaurants that we have, but the more marketing that we do, as I say, cups. So we have a cups that's got our branding on it. So people, when they order coffee, you can see that it's Ground One cup. Some of people that they're interested to know, they always go to our internet to check what is Ground One. And then when you go to Ground One on the internet, you're just going to find our website, easy. So it's going to tell you what exactly to order. So in our website, when you jump in our website as well, He's gonna tell you if you order a medium, what do you expect from the medium? If you order a dark roast, what do you expect for the dark roast? House blend, even we do all the single origin. As well, Hollard put us in a picture in a way of people, they start noticing that there's ground one, because I think people didn't know there's ground one before. Only people that we supply, like lots of Discovery, Investec, all the Barons, Mackenzie, all these shops like Dominas, and then we've got all these customers that we supply, all the Joburg theaters. So what we did, the best thing that we did in our customers, we put more our branding. So if you go to our customers, as soon as we enter in the entrance, some of them, they allow us to put the signage in the door. So we put the signage to showcase the ground one coffee. But that one doesn't say much until they saw the billboards in our thing, in our freeway, this speed light, anything in the bus stops as well. People start talking about it in the TV. So people, they start noticing what is ground one. That's why we saw it probably this year from January. We start seeing sales from for online sales.
Oh, that's great.
I think Letsi can finish that for me. I think he's got some of ideas that he can throw in there.
Let's hear what you.
I was so mesmerized by what you were saying, G. I even forgot the question.
Oh, fantastic. So Pride, the Ground One website, you referenced that a few times now with the e-com platform, which is great. It's really good that you guys have understood that aspect of the business in the early stages. But there's one thing that really stands out well for me. You proudly display the values on the site, and it's an important aspect because the 5 values there just really talk wonderfully to who you guys are as a business. And I want to interrogate a little bit of that if you don't mind. But firstly, I want to quickly look at for our listeners, what the definition of values is that I came across on ethicssage.com, because really it's a wonderful narrative that aligns perfectly with the values, which I'm going to read as well. So firstly, values are basic fundamental beliefs that guide or motivate attitude or actions. They help us determine what is important to us. Values describe the personal qualities we choose to embody to guide our actions, the sort of person we want to be, the manner in which we want to treat ourselves and others, and our interaction with the world around us. And they provide the general guideline for conduct. And what's really wonderful on your values is that I see that coming through with you, gents, in having met you in person for a short period of time, but listening to you guys and seeing your behavior. So taking that particular definition into account, it's great to see that you guys have obviously understood what values stand for, because you have addressed every aspect of what you want to be as a brand in the way you've articulated the values on your site. So whoever put the values together and worked with you and the team in building those out, there's clear articulation of what your beliefs are, and it's a really good exercise. And I applaud you guys for getting that right. So let's start with the first value that says, we believe in giving the best service in everything we do. So what is your customer experience journey look like? And how does the team deliver against this value across the customer experience journey?
So customer experience is everything. From how they're going to receive the sit-down cup that we chose a long time to decide on which one to choose, from the blends that we take time to do, from, like you've mentioned earlier, about we take auditing and training seriously, because I believe that we would have anxieties just giving someone our product and not letting them know how to, use it and make it. It's like giving someone who can't drive a Ferrari, so you'd be anxious. You just have to be right there sitting next to them if they're really forced to drive it. But what that does is it creates an experience that we care about you and your business, rather than you giving us money and we're selling our coffee. When a customer receives customer experience that we think that they deserve, they come back and they become our friend. When they become our friend, they become, a great business colleague, and it creates a whole ecosystem that runs on its own axis. So you have to give out what you believe that your brand stands for. And also, I think the values anchor the business itself. So if we rotate around that, it'll create people that will talk to their other people and be like, hey, you got to contact Letsi and Pride. You know, they have this coffee thing figured out. You know, so I guess it boils down to that for us.
Brilliant.
So, I mean, another one is like how COVID impacted on your business and the customer experience journey. Can you guys sort of share more on that for us?
On that,
Yeah.
just that but COVID for us, it was just because you know, it was a learning curve for us, if I may say, because our business, probably I can say 40% of our business we're relying on the office space. So when I say office space, we have all these like all the Discovery, Reserve Bank, Investec, Willie Passon, all these big guys that work in the office. Ever COVID came through, you know, we had to cut down our staff. We had to probably from sending like, you know, for example, Discovery sending about 40 boxes per week. We end up sending one box or not sending it all. So now we had our overheads that you need to cover at the office, and then if you realize that you can't even cover them because we were closed down for 3 months. So we didn't make any much for 3 months. So you must understand you got bills to pay as well. Even the staff, they got the bills to pay as well. So I feel like it killed us in our office space as well. The restaurant, they were closed down. So we couldn't do much. Only thing that we did, I think it was a learning curve for in the future, what you do when you face these kind of things. So we know no one knew that COVID was going to be closed for like a month or 2 or 3, and then end up being a whole year. So I think for us was a big learning curve. We lost so much, you know, so we still recovering from that. You know what, you got suppliers that you're supposed to pay. You can't really pay suppliers, and then you got workers that they got the bills to pay as well. So it was a democrat, if I may say. Letsi probably can finish that off.
Look, yes, it definitely did impact immensely. We never expected that at all. From realizing just the operational costs to, it taught us business. It really taught us how to be resourceful and really how to think on our feet. And mind you, the businesses that Pride is mentioning we're mainly a business to business. So we create solid structures for people in hotel industry, catering industry, coffee shops, restaurants, franchises. So we tailor make a solution for you, and we bring a coffee system that anchors your brand. So with that being said, everybody that we sold to closed. So we had to think outside the shell and really start talking to the consumer himself. You know, and also it's a dynamic where we understand the complexities of actually brewing, you know, filter beans. You know, do you have a machine at home? You know, getting a call from someone saying, hey, I threw the beans in the water, why is it not dissolving? You know, so it's how do we meet our consumers halfway in sharing the knowledge about coffee? So that's where the online store, we started hitting that online store. You know, immediately when Hollard came through, we were functioning, it was working. You know, we were having videos about how to brew this at home, what kind of filter you would need. Then, you know, it puts us in a space where now we start thinking about, you know, future products, innovation, you know, dabbling into instant coffee, because we really would have a solid support from the ground if it was convenient enough for people to really go out there and support us.
You know what stands out to me is that you guys are, you know, you have the approach, you know, the one thing that for me, that as a theme that comes out of all the entrepreneurs and all the businesses that we've spoken to already is you find a solution, you find it, you make it happen, and you're like, what's the next best thing? I mean, the fact that you have an online store and it's working, and you've made videos for this, I think that's such a fantastic way. Like, it's where the future lies, right? It's and so many smaller brands or businesses in the world are still kind of trying to get on board with, yeah, we need some video content, we need people engaged, we need to do this and show them how, right? So just well done, guys. I think that's spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. Gents, you know, I really want to pick up on your second value, which is quite an important one in setting the ground for the business moving forward, where you state on the site, we want to change the perspective of African coffee exports. So what can you tell us about the coffee sector on the continent? How have you gone about doing your research, and how do you see Ground One actually taking a lead role in this regard on the continent?
So look, it's also an interesting question. There's so much dynamics, in terms of how the market is in Africa as compared to the rest of the world as well too. People usually, buy beans for specific tastes and how it works, and does it come through to the brand that, if it's Ground One, does it work for us? And will it be able to push? But going back to what I said before, we're used to sending out raw materials. And in terms, if we are also involved in coffee, we have to have our own coffee culture. So we're not just only exporting our great products, but we're exporting the culture that we have taken for ourselves. And this is what we believe coffee is for us and for you as well too. So there's difference in what anybody would want to believe that their brand is. And I think the most ideal thing is to be able to communicate that effectively to your clients, So there's a lot of factors that would hinder coffee supplies in Africa, especially global warming now. I think catching up on the global market would be there was frost in South America, that would impact the growth, the harvest, and that will also delay supply and demand, globally, as Brazil and Colombia, they play a bigger role in terms of just the number of bags that are shipped out globally. So we had a conversation some other time, just in terms of giving back and forth about how does Africa catch up with the market, and how that catches up is actually through global warming. Because if frosts like that do happen, it gives people a chance to actually buy different kinds of Arabica, and they start looking, in different places. That also would impact on the cost, because now there's demand for African beans. Now there's a demand because people are tasting African beans. Not only can they just buy raw beans from us, but they're getting a packaged product where we could be as big as Ely, we could be as big as Lavazza, we could be as big as Doi Egba, because we have our own story to tell. Our tastes would tell and reveal our stories.
I just want to comment. Craig, like we when we do these shows every week, and the stuff that you guys are mentioning, having a coffee culture, it's so many brands, well-established brands, half the time struggle with their own value system, first of all, and their own culture. And to see how you've ingrained that as part of the story, I think that's amazing. That's it really speaks to the success of what you're doing already. So again, congratulations to that. It's nice to hear, and the way that you share that.
It absolutely is good to hear. Yeah, and it's interesting you talk about global warming and the aspect of frost. We were having a chat on late last week within a wine club construct, and there's a major challenge worldwide, excluding South Africa. And here's the opportunity for South Africa, but particularly in Europe and parts of Australia and New Zealand, there's a major challenge with the Sauvignon Blanc grape. And environmentally in Europe, it's been affected quite badly, whereas in South Africa, our Sauvignon Blanc grapes are thriving. And we're really producing some phenomenal quality product, particularly, along the coastal region. So here one gets to understand what the global impact is around weather patterns and global warming, and how do you take a product and really drive it into those markets and find a much bigger value set for your own product in South Africa, where the grape is actually thriving, and therefore, the same approach to coffee.
Firstly, Sauvignon Blanc is a favorite. But I mean, definitely, global warming is a challenge. But with all challenges, how do we make this lemon into lemonade? So I was just explaining in terms of, like you said, you've mentioned that, it's hitting different parts of the globe differently, and it hasn't impacted us that way as much as any other people with regards to just the global trends. So from our side, I think maybe the one guys, they push it more now. They have a chance to catch up in the market because people's production is slowing down. You need to speed up. It's not happening to you just as yet, but catch up and get a little bit of market share so that you can run on your own axis and build new clientele, and explore. So we have to figure out how we're going to deal with this, because at the end of the day, we're a global community.
Yes. And that's your opportunity to take your brand globally. Yeah. So I just want to pick up, it's a single question that I would like both yourself and Pride to answer. And it goes around your third value on the website, which states that we encourage people to take the road less traveled. People who keep moving towards the extra mile. The sentiment of the road less traveled, guys, is come out in every single one of the conversations we've had so far with the other recipients that we've interviewed on the show, namely Jackie Fingers of Thras SA Next Level Learning, Lesego Seleoni and Dina Geledi of Renawa Creations, Letle Gonolo Matsing of Moja Chicken. They all talk around this journey of the road less traveled. And it's wonderful that there is this strong common theme here. So in a single statement for each of you, what is that one single moment or experience or learning that kept you moving forward on that road and allowed you to continue without stopping and turning back?
Jane?
Yeah, I read that question. I'm just thinking, around what exactly, because I need to put it a good point on that. I started doing coffee when I was 16. So it's not about, so a lot of people, what they do in the business, I feel like a lot of people, they're chasing money instead of chasing quality, what you do. Understand? What you do every day, we're chasing our quality. What we supply to our customers is something that the customers, if they keep telling you your coffee is the great, your coffee is it's a nice coffee. So that's what keep you going. When the customer phones you and tells you that I never drink a coffee like this, I think for me personally, I think it's something that keeps us going all the time. Reason being, people that they compliment. Again, for you every day in the morning when you taste your coffee, you feel like, damn, we're doing right. You get that. So I'm just saying, in a way, is that keeping people giving you a compliment about your coffee, I feel like it's something that keeps us going all the time.
Fantastic.
That was nice.
Letsi, that's great.
Look, I think in just a few words, this is a great responsibility. Once we understand just where we are and where we're going and what we could be capable of, it's a real great responsibility, because now we have a little bit of control to shift the dynamics of culture, to shift the dynamics of what people believe coffee is, or what a coffee company chooses to become. I think it gave us power in a sense that we could change people's lives, and once you see that happening on a daily basis, it keeps us going. It gets you to wake up in the morning. It gives you this is a 24/7 job. There is no rest breaks. There is no December holidays, because life doesn't stop. We can't be like, oh, okay, it's January now, so December, we'll still be working, we'll still be pushing. We're trying to cover up ground. We're trying to just take this to everybody around the globe.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Kevin, are you there?
Thank you, guys. Yes, so inspiring, and so just I I always get so tongue-tied listening to people's stories. You're like, in their face of adversity, how people still thrive through COVID, through creating a business, and having success. Even in the last 2 years, it's hasn't been easy for so many brands. So it's just amazing. Craig, so as we near the end of the show today, what are the key takeaway points that we have for the listeners for today?
Yeah, Kevin, a great conversation with some wonderful, wonderful points, and particularly the last point each of the gents made here. So yeah, Letsi, business is a great responsibility. Hell, that's such an incredibly true statement. But it's wonderful because they've understood that business is a great responsibility, and they know that when they're in it and focused on it, they actually can shift and create that coffee culture that they talk about, and the acknowledgement of understanding that their business can change lives, those that they employ, those that they source from, and then hopefully those that they create the coffee culture around. So yeah, understanding the importance of your business in the bigger picture is fantastic. I also love the fact earlier around people, set an example and then continue to show up in support of the staff that are actually demonstrating support for you. So it's this iterative process, and that's really a great point. Be resilient. The approach to finding solutions in today's day and age, the challenges on the continent, the challenges coming out of COVID, being resilient is incredibly important. But starting small, start focused, know the challenges of the value chain, understand where the opportunities are, understand where the pitfalls are, and navigate around those. And then develop your own story. It's just important. Every single brand is about stories these days. So develop your own story, find pride and purpose in your business, that quality, the affirmation of the quality, being a wonderful comment that Pride made there. The more affirmation you're getting, that means that you're delivering to people's expectations and meeting their needs, and they're coming back to compliment you to continue helping your business grow. Absolutely fantastic. And then just be in the right mindset, commit, know that you can do it. And on the back of that, I really just want to close with a wonderful statement that's part from the website here. So part of the job includes regularly tasting coffee for quality control, which means they rarely have a drowsy moment. They have ambition to bring ground coffee to the rest of Africa and eventually the world. And let us support these amazing ambitions, Kevin. Let's see if we can, through these shows and broadcasting the brand and helping grow the awareness of these wonderful organizations, let's see if we can help another locally produced brand become a global brand.
Absolutely. And my sentiments exactly. Thank you again, Pride and Letsi. It's such a privilege to have young entrepreneurs like you join us on the show and provide motivation for listeners to the show. So thank you, and good luck with all your achievements and all your business dreams. We wish you all the best, and are here to support you guys. And thank you.
Look, guys, thanks, Kev. Thanks, Craig. We're truly honored. We appreciate your time, and it's a little bit that we can do. Yeah,
fantastic, guys. Ditto to everything Kevin said as well, Pride and Letsi. It's great having you on the show. I thoroughly enjoyed my first taste of the coffee. I'm going to make sure that I get onto the e-com site and start purchasing from you and taking the brand with me to my social group and friends and getting your brand out there. And definitely look forward to chatting and connecting again soon. I think we still need to have that coffee at Aurum very, very soon. And I think it's just great to have you on the last show of the year for our gig this year. Thank you very much for being part of that.
No, thank you. Thank you. I like to say, best for last, right?
Oh, there we go. Nice one.
You had to go there.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Guys, thank you.
Guys, I hope we keep in touch. I really do. You guys are awesome.
We will, absolutely.
Fantastic. Appreciate your time. See you soon, gents. Kevin, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. And finally, Craig, what do we have lined up for next week?
A holiday, because good old Ingrid is called the show for the year. So hopefully you and I can go and spend some time drinking coffee and tasting whiskeys somewhere. And we'll be back early in the new year for we've got a few more to go to close off on 52 shows of a year of activity. So yeah, let's enjoy the break in between, but definitely keep in contact and build some great content for kicking off next year early again.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for a wonderful conversation. Thank you for a wonderful year. Everyone who joins in and listens to us and comments and shares and likes. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And Craig, thank you. It's none of this would be possible without you. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. What started as me being invited as a guest to your show 45 weeks ago turned into me joining you as co-host, and here we are, continuous, not a single break in the 45-week period, which has been phenomenal. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, gents. And we look forward to continuing growing everybody's brands next year. Let's make it happen.
Let's do it. Guys, thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.